Sure, you're gonna do it with me on 3, okay?
Got it.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Bam. Just like that.
Put it in my back pocket.
You're putting Chad in your back pocket? Don't sit on it.
No, I'm only standing. Standing desk OP, you know it. You're a recent believer. Welcome to the Church of Standing Desk Broadcasts.
Church of Standing.
I mean, not only talking about swag as well. I mean, even if you've already lost, for all the teams that who are participating, you also got free AirPods. Thank you to the Summoner Series. Thank you, Riot, for that one.
Dude, that is pretty sick.
The swag bag that they've been giving out, primo. So if you want to be, if you want to rock it with the cool kids, not just Tribe and NME, you also got to prove it. And now we're here off of lower semifinals, NME versus Choncc Chortle. And already we're seeing those bans start to come on through. I'll have to wonder, what is Kai'Sa going to do in this draft? Because it's one of those champions where now it feels solely a truth only at this point.
The AP Luden's Echo Deathcap Kai'Sa. After building specifically a BF Sword and a Serrated Dirk just to get the evolved the Cathian Rain for the wave clear, and then Truth just translates into a Pokebot / Assassin, which is, it's kind of a blend of the best of both worlds, because Truth and Molly, both known as some of our prominent Katarina players in the Summoner Series here. Yes. Truth loves those assassins, love getting into the backline, but also is versatile enough to play backliners like Corky. We know that this could be for Truth. It could also be for D'Anzio.
Could be. D'Anzio has played a little bit more aggressively, especially now that we see Senna taken away. I wonder what the Ashe priority is going to be in the series, right? Nori giving him those engage tools is so important as a shot caller for this team. Obviously, is just a Lone Star kind of AD carry that can play very safely through range. Now, a very dangerous composition for Choncc Chortle already. Nami, we talked about it for Hestia. Our production was actually telling this a little bit earlier. Choncc Chortle have abnormally high KDAs, and you saw it on the lower third there a little bit earlier. Hestia has almost 12 KDA as a support. It's kind of nuts.
Battle Mage Hestia on these enchanters. Choncc Chortle. Okay, now, the last time I saw a team draft Camille Olaf, they sent the Olaf into the Baron lane, and I was not that impressed. However, I think Black Camel has shown that with the Olaf on their side, they can definitely take it in the early game. Tybe is going for the mighty true Lee Sin, one of my favorites coming out. Between T-Tigers and Tybe, both of these guys have really put on a stalwart Lee Sin performance. Very, very effective at getting the kick flash out.
The life drains from your eyes. You take off the headset. I'll see you later, Rafa. Every at home, say a prayer for Mark, as he's a little bit upset. As it was not what we expected. You have true damage coming out from Camille. You would have thought they would have just gone with it, but it seems like Choncc Chortle, they've taken it in their hands. Rafa,
okay.
I already gave them the spiel about what this champion does, what Olaf. I didn't really want to talk about the matchup just because it is pretty abysmal, but we're here, we're gaming.
You know what? It's fine. You know what? If Luan wants to take this matchup and just destroy a Louis during the laning phase and they make it work, it's cool. Oh my god!
We're level
Hello! 5-on-5 multi-man bubble, though, from Hestia might have saved everyone from just getting destroyed, but NME still are able to take out one in that exchange.
Okay, that time it's not the Olaf's fault, but someone does end up going down. It is still a first blood here for NME. It has been kind of the stalwart pick there for them, which is going into level 1s and trying to find picks wherever they may be. They happened in their last series, and while it did backfire for them in some of their games, it has been the most consistent way they can find a lead. And I mean, the bubble was sick, but Nori's already down barrier in this matchup.
Well, that's one way to wake up during the series, just everyone just shows up to the same part, and then it's like West Side Story. Monster Mash. I was going for West Side Story. Just got the Jets on one side, the Sharks on the other side, and everyone's snapping their fingers. Type showing up here in the mid lane, helping get the push with Truth in so that they can go for the Scuttle Crab coming up in the next 10 seconds. Black Camel also doing the same. Now, if you're Choncc Chortle, I imagine that you want to cheat towards the top side of the map because you really want Luan to come online with this Olaf, and that's exactly where Black Camel's going.
It just feels unnecessarily so that Choncc Chortle have put themselves on a bit of a timer here, right? You have this Malphite who, if you look at the people who are going to predominantly be doing damage, I'm going to have to hold that part as it looks like Selma with the age-old Gragas. Tybe goes in, flashes in, and is able to find the trade kill onto Hestia. We're talking about the bot lane constantly going down, and see, they seem to have taken notes. The fighting is never stopping here, Rafa. Black Camel goes in with the hook shot. Oh, no truth. Oh, no, buddy. I don't think you want to do that against Dienzio there.
Choncc Chortle still on the run. Black Camel doesn't have much resources left. Molly gets a gold card out. Selma is very durable in this exchange, but Hestia comes back. Nice two-man bubble. Unfortunately, they can't go in any further because Tybe is here to the party as well. Oh, yo, Nori. I don't know. Oh, he lands the Sonic Wave. Tybe goes in. And now Hestia, I know the bubbles have been on point, but you're just a fish. Sushi is going to be on the menu tonight for NME, boys.
What are they doing?
Oh, no.
Oh, the
Nori
barrier.
gets a full cooling. Okay, he kicks out Dienzio, but Tybe is just saying, all right, more kills for me. I'm the real carry anyway.
What are they doing? They're getting down and scrappy. They're getting right down into the mud versus NME, and they are fighting every single bit of the map here. Selma has respawned. They're able to keep on fighting. Oh my god, Rafa. This is the one way to start off our semifinals here in the lower bracket. It has been nonstop action. We're 3 minutes in. It's 8 kills. I know you had just did the SCA Icon playoffs just now, and this is feeling a little bit reminiscent, but the time zone is a little bit better for you.
I know. I'm actually not going into DGen hours around 3 a.m. before the hype starts kicking in. This is great. Unstoppable Force from a Louis starts off the fight. Ragnarok is popped here. Tybe being able to safeguard in, but a nice re-engage from Black Camel with the Hextech Ultimatum. Locks down Tybe. Molly picking up Louis on the side in that bush. Tybe can get one more safeguard out to escape danger, but a gold card locked in. Gonna get in range. It's not even needed because it's the undertow that slows him down for Black Camel.
The safeguard almost comes out. You see the ammunition come out, and I don't even know if we're going to have time right now because there's already Corki trying to harass them under the bot tier 1 turret. There's bombs going out. Selma is here. The Valkyrie is enough for NME to pull back their assault. Not able to do this with this wave crashing here. It has been back and forth between these two teams. It was a level 1 start, and we get a replay of this fight. Look at how Luan plays this. I know he isn't able to get too much damage down on this Olaf, but it's just key things missing out here for NME that stop them from making this at least an even trade.
Poor Tybe is just running for his life. Had the last safeguard out, but the red buff slow plus the undertow slow is enough. Choncc Chortle.
Ultimate?
Nori.
Ultimate.
Oh. Did you feel the breeze on that one, Dimitri?
Don't stop believing. I know we didn't get to see it. I was looking at some of the health bars that we got to see, but the Baron laners did just flash, or at least one of them did. The dragon is secured for NME. That's a bubble coming in, but Truth all the way in the back line. The exhaust comes out, and in the meantime,
nice cast.
Selma and Tybe are fighting. Dienzio, the 80 carries are going at it back and forth. Selma, the next one to go. It is the unstoppable force from Louis to catch Nui. Black Camel, I don't know if you're going to be able to live here. Camille, the true damage is out, takes down this Ashe, and in the meantime, the fighting is continuing to go on. Does Tybe connect it? Rafa, I think this is such an even fight between them. They may have lost the dragon, but Choncc Chortle are not willing to give up much more.
Oh my god. Oh, well, this is a banger. This is a roller coaster and a half. NME started up the dragon here. Tidal Wave had clipped most of them, and because of the crowd control from Hestia, she tried to keep the opposition at bay and stall out the fight as long as possible, but then it just breaks out into multiple isolated skirmishes. You have Tybe diving in onto the back line near the mid lane. Louis goes in on Nori down by the river in this jungle quadrant. Black Camel's able to win out on this one, but just my goodness, during this whole time, because everyone's scrapping, no one is in the side lanes, and it's just, you would imagine that this should favor Choncc Chortle more because this is where their composition is at best. They don't necessarily have the best scaling picks here for the squad. They want to play for Luan and allow him to start fighting and scrapping, but the fact that NME are taking these when they have things like a Corki and an Ashe on their side, and they can just wait, it just shows how much confidence NME have on just being able to fight Choncc Chortle toe for toe.
The really important part of that fight is the fact that they actually found the mid turret, and the ultimate carves in. The wanted posters are there for Nori. A massive shockwave now coming out from the tidal wave. And it is 2 members down. Look at Black Camel all the way in the back line with the ultimate. It is just blinking health bars across the map. And slowly but surely, Dienzo is trying to make his mark on the AD carry. But Louis, the last member of NME, it is a 4-for-3 in favor of Choncc Chortle. And Luan says, no more. We're not going to try and chase the Malphite. We're going to continue on in these kills. There's not even much to get on the map. We're talking about no side lanes. These tier 1s are still up. And we're just going to reset, redeploy, Rafa.
Choncc Chortle are just trying to limit test every single fight that they can get, and NME are saying, yeah, well, I should say NME are the ones that are limit testing the fights here, and Choncc Chortle are happy to take it, because this is where mid-game spikes, Molly on the Rod of Ages and the Rapid Fire, Trinity Force for Black Camel, Black Cleaver for Luan, Blade of the Ruined King for Nori. I mean, these guys love fighting right now, and NME are just giving to them on a platter, and every single fight, Choncc Chortle slowly just edging out in the gold lead, but NME might look for another fight here.
Uh-oh, it looks like Black Camel's a little bit of a danger position. The Hextech defenses come out, is able to save them. You said, you wanted to see Luan carry. Well, here it is. Ragnarok out for the Olaf. That's 2 for him. Double kill onto a Louis. And Selma getting slowly bursted down by Lucian, the Purifier, under the turret. Misses out on the Gragas barrel. The barrier is able to save him under turret, but it's not enough. They're going to continue fighting. They're going to try and find this pick onto Molly, but is able to escape. And Choncc Chortle, they're keeping the tempo of the game. They don't want to stop this. Tide goes in. Sonic Wave, flash out from under the turret. No man left behind here for NME.
Dude, this is crazy.
We're fighting, boys.
Every fight is winning is all you can hear in both of the teams' comms right now, because that's how confident they just feel about taking every single skirmish. Even Nori went past 2 turrets, popped out the double glizzies, flash, barrier, doesn't matter. He wants Selma on a plate, man.
That's not the way I thought you were going to go with that call, but I respect it nonetheless. It was good. Important to note here, Luan is so far ahead. It's about a level and a half over this ultimate for Malphite. But it doesn't really matter, because remember, Malphite, you just press R and you can still win a game. So they're going to start this up. It's Dragon here for Choncc Chortles. Rafa.
What?
Oh, no.
Type stole the Dragon. Package comes in from Truth. They're onto the back line. Black Camel getting isolated, but look at Luan. He's already dealt with Dienzio, but the rest of the fight is on towards the Dragon side of the map. Molly rejoins the fight with Destiny. Gold card on to Selma, but he pops him back in with that explosive cast and gets annihilated. Luan, I know you've been popping off in these mid-game fights, but the party is over here, bro.
It doesn't matter. We're talking about every fight is winning. Well, for an NME, that is the case. They get the Dragon stolen away from Choncc Chortle, and they're able to win that fight. Not playing around this Olaf is critical for them. Look at the build for this guy. Black Cleaver, Sterix, now has a Stone Plate. We were talking about the Stone Plate meta during our Major 2 and 3, how important it is to have just 1,000+ shield, have a secondary HP bar, but when we're not playing around the 6-0 and 3 Olaf, that is where that gold lead that is there for Choncc Chortle tends to dissipate. So now we'll have to see what Choncc Chortle can do coming back out onto the map here to defend their tier 1 turret. I would just want to see them play a little bit more around that, turn on what your objectives are for what your kind of winning lanes, and actually play around them.
They'll probably hear that, Dimitri, and they'll just go, nah, we're fighting.
Hey, speaking of which, this could be one of them. Some pot shots from the 3.
Now Black Camel Nori have Tybe in their sight, chunking him down to about a 3rd HP, but he has that GA, just in case things get a little scrappy. Louis going in with a re-engage. Salmon with the flash explosive cast, but it doesn't quite land onto Hestia. She's able to re-engage with that tidal wave. The Enzio with the Crystal Enchanted Arrow stops Molly in his tracks, cannot provide another cold card until he finds it onto Selma, but the rest of the fighters on NME are falling by the wayside. Nori with the glizzies. Brrrr. Choncc Chortle, they found the flank. Time tries to come in late to the party, but the G is not going to save him for much longer unless he can get a safeguard over the wall. Truth is the only one that's left alive apart from Time. He's able to safeguard away, finds the Sonic Resonating Strike, goes back in on a Hestia. She survives with blinking HP bars. Choncc Chortle still trying to run this Lee Sin down, but Time will get away.
Oh my god. And Rafa, we're in game 1. For everybody who's waiting, I mean, it looks like Truth is trying to find this, just barely survives in the 1v1 versus Nori as that fight goes on. And remember, this all started around this mid lane turret. 51 HP is the price that they pay, and Black Camo misses. That's huge for them. That Camille is going down. You don't even need the Hextech Ultimatum to know that one. That's just a trade, and important because now all the members of NME are around this Baron and can threaten, especially with no jungler.
This is I don't even know how we're gonna last until for the second game.
Good luck. Good luck, boys.
Good luck. We're definitely holding on. Choncc Chortle and NME going tick for tat, trying to battle tooth and nail to the very bitter end. Choncc Chortle,
it's time
NME,
to fight, boys. It's time to fight. We're diving this turret, boys.
Hestia. Oh, the package is just beautiful from Truth. That's burnt fish. That's fried fish on the Barbie there for NME, and they're not even from Australia, guys. They just cooked them right down through. Molly and Hestia are gone. It's only 3 for Choncc Chortle. Eyes are on the Baron, but NME still want to fight as Louis went for a unstoppable force, but no one was there for the follow-up on the play.
You say that they're not from Australia, but they are definitely down under right now. It's 10 seconds before they respawn, and the Baron is slowly being whittled away. No unstoppable force like you just noted. Can Choncc Chortle save this, or are an enemy going to look for a turn? They're going for it, Rafa.
Luan onto the back line. Ragnarok popped through. It's so much damage. Popping the Gargoyle Stone Plate. The
Look at the shielding.
It's not enough shields, though. He cannot 1v9. So much damage from NME's backline are able to deal with the Viking. Molly teleports right back in just to die. Because Time is there. He's dominating the field. The Lee Sin, I imagine, for that Sonic Wave connected, you know he would have went in.
Oh, and the stopwatch comes out, saves them from the hook shot from Black Camel, who resets, picks up the stone plate. But they're just going to have to watch right now as NME, they turn off of the Baron, they get a few kills, and they get themselves the 3rd dragon here on the map, set themselves up for an Elder Drake in the future if they want to use that as a point to fight over. But now they have Mountain Drake in their back pocket, which is a huge shield that they can use. They have Ocean Drake giving them out of combat regen, and the obvious combat stats that you get from the Infernal Drake are massive.
The scaling for NME now has come online, and to their credit, we were kind of questioning what NME were doing when Choncc Chortle were just taking a lot of these fights advantageously. But as you noted, Dimitri, before, there was no objectives that Choncc Chortle could swing into their favor off the back of these fights because so many members on both sides had died. So Luan can't always go for them. And now we're at the point in the game where Truth and Dienzio have 2-3 items apiece. I think 4 maybe for Truth. We'll have to take a look back at the item scoreboard again once we get a chance. But a 3,000 gold difference for NME. It is late game, but they are very much ahead thanks to all the dragons they have picked up for themselves as well.
You also have to think, we were talking about, hey, there's no objectives from the turn. The side lanes are really starting to kind of kick back against Choncc Chortle. The fact that, hey, we fought so many times around mid that we weren't really able to push that lead is coming back to bite them, where NME are slowly starting to scale. They're slowly getting to that position where they're unkillable monsters, and they're going to go right in for this fight. It's a shockwave. It's a huge ultimate into the backline coming out from a Louis, and Dienzio finds the first kill onto Black Camel. And as the rest of the members of NME chase Choncc Chortle out of the mid lane, it is surely their fight to win. They can continue to go here. They can go turn right onto the Baron, and I don't know if Choncc Chortle are able to try and contest against it.
Choncc Chortle still have Molly, can face check with this gold card. However, there's no spine on their side because Black Camel, as you've already noted before, has been taken down. And Truth says, we're not going to give anything to Chance. Just takes out the mid laner just like that, and the Baron is surely theirs.
Nami's tidal waves have looked good, but they're just not good enough against enemies. Just unrelenting assault against them. It is so many tanky members that they're throwing their bodies at Choncc Chortle, and they just cannot respond. I was gonna say that the gold lead, and once we get to the end of the game and we get to see what those look like, they're probably gonna look like the rolling hills on Windows Vista. But now it's starting to slowly just edge more and more in the favor of NME.
Take a breather now, because NME, they are potentially in the final lap of this game 1. Baron buff on their side. Truth at 4.5 items. Almost 5 fully completed ones. Choncc Chortle on their back foot right now, losing out on this mid-tier turret. A Louis pushing in, and Olaf as Malphite. You already know that sounds bad at this point of the game. NME, they're just coming into their own, whereas Choncc Chortle is starting to run out of gas.
And unless they win this fight, there's a dragon, Elder Dragon, that's going to spawn. There are more and more tools starting to disappear from them. The culling is now not available. The package is taken away from NME, but they're just going to choke them out. That's the first inhibitor tower to fall. They're going right in, Rafa.
Hive, you are a madman sailing right into the back line, looking
for
that
bubble!
Dragon's Rage, but the bubble from Hestia is going to buy some time from Choncc Chortle. They've already eliminated Tide. Choncc Chortle still working with 3. Maybe 4 here. Black Camel's able to get out alive, but Luan is Jake's taking so much fire from NME. They're not able to end the game, but they've eliminated 2 turrets from the base. Molly, a lot of damage. Truth advancing forward for the Valkyrie. Package or bubble lands onto Dienzio, but NME, they just want to end it right here. They've pushed them off, and Choncc Chortle, they're now down to their last leg as NME take game 1.
It's from here on out. You're looking to try and reverse sweep if you're Choncc Chortle, and if you're NME, you're looking to close this out. The last time that they faced, it was in round 1 of the Summoner Series of North American Regional Championships, where they are game 1 down against Choncc Chortle, and they take the next 2 against them. They want to turn fate. They want to change up the history, and they just make it back and forth. It felt like we had 2 different games played out. The early game that came out from them, and then the back half of it. It's only 15 minutes, but 7 of those felt like a much different game.
We could make like a montage of all the scrapping and all of the constant fighting during that mid game, which is where
look at
you saw
damage numbers, man.
45k. What the hell, man?
He's the truth, man. He's the truth. That's NME's mid laner right there, beasting out team fights.
Just get the Prage emojis out for Truth. Because he is it. He is it. Every single time. And send your prayers for Choncc Chortle as well, because, man, they are down to the wire where the championship lifeline's on the line. NME, I mean, we didn't get a personal chance to talk to the players after their defeat against Immortals, but I imagine after being top 2 for so long, and then coming off of the high of beating Tribe in the Riftmasters Invitational just a couple weeks ago, to get taken out by Immortals and sent to the lower bracket, I think it changed something in NME. It awoke something in them that wasn't even there before, and we are dealing with a beast of a team that we haven't seen yet out of NME, because I will say, it's not the most clean, but it's by far the most aggressive NME we have seen. I have never seen them fight this much before, and their spirit was unrelenting.
I don't care if it's not the most clean. I know a lot of people in Twitch chat, they're going to hit me with the Plat Emerald Caster Keck W, but when you look across the sea, when you can look across the Atlantic and across the Pacific, we have a bunch of aggressive Eastern teams that are coming at us. Thunder Talk Gaming, Team Secret from the SCA Icon
SBTC
region.
as well.
Exactly. They are just monsters. They are fighting consistently. And one pick that I really want to highlight that I said yesterday was super pivotal in Tribe's victories is this Lee Sin. Tybe had an excellent performance on it and is a champion that kind of fell off to the wayside when we got to Major 3, and now here in the regionals is really started to make that return. And I'm so happy to see it because it is an aggressive early game diving champion that still has the playmaking potential as we get later into the game.
Yeah, Tybe is really embracing the kind of the Eastern jungle meta. Everyone else in NA,
Blessed.
I know it has been, you know, really on things like the Camille Wukong train, the Olaf train for a bit of a time, but if you go over to the C region and you look at junglers like TF from SBTC, Mans is specifically playing Lee Sin and Riven and the occasional Vi. Don't talk about the Vi. The Vi is not his chat.
We don't talk about the Vi. We don't.
Yeah. I mean, we had some Vi games here in NA as well, but like usually they build full tank, and it's like, man, that's not chat. You know, that's beta, but it's okay. We see the Lee Sin and the Ribbon gameplays, though. That's hype as hell. And you know, going through the replay packages we got presented by Verizon. I mean, we weren't kidding. For anyone that is just tuning in, this game was all about just getting down in the mud and everyone pushing each other to their limits.
And I'm excited to see that because it's not only just a test of mechanics, this is just a beautiful kill from Tyve. And what we want to see from such young players and, you know, players that have also been tested in other esports is show those mechanics, show your ability to outplay your opponent, and keep it aggressive. North America, historically in esports, has been a little bit of a slower team, a slower region when it comes to level of play and just trying to keep up. And obviously China and Korea are up there when it comes to aggression. And it's just beautiful to see because Tribe yesterday were kind of keeping up in terms of tempo and aggressiveness. And I'm glad to see that. I mean, our two teams here who are not even in the top 3 quite yet. Choncc Chortle is a team that came in from a lost chance qualifier and are fighting for their lives and are making it look convincing at least.
I mean, for Choncc Chortle, it is celebration enough that they have broke into the top 4 after barely missing out on a top 4 finish from the 3rd major where they could have auto-qualified to the regional championships and they didn't have to play through the last chance qualifier to get here. But now they upset Cloud9. They beat Grilled Cheese as well, getting here into the first place. Now looking at NME. NME, one game in their favor, and the way it played out, you know, one could say that NME were the more dominant team. I mean, Choncc Chortle did draft a composition that wanted to fight directly in the mid game, and NME played into it. They allowed them to do it, but considering how NME were still able to deny any strategical and tactical advantages from Choncc Chortle because every single fight resulted in only one person surviving. Choncc Chortle have to change up their draft plan going into this second game then.
I do want to say that Choncc Chortle, they played a little bit of a mini game where they're like, fight as much as possible and try to win. And I think that they succeeded in that mini objective. They get a little gold star from me. You know, I'll draw it on MS Paint and throw it up on Twitter later. But, you know, you got the you tried emote. Said you did what you want. You got your mini objective. They kind of forgot that the objective of Wild Rift is you have to blow up the Nexus. And that's what we were talking about, putting themselves on a timer. Luan, while they didn't inherently play to him a little bit earlier in the laning phase, we get to that 7-8 minute mark, and Luan is 6-0-2 on this Olaf, right? They did eventually get the lead for this top laner, but it didn't end up anything, and we saw that slowly but surely NME were able to take that win, choke them out of objectives, and keep winning team fights back to back.
Well, I could see that the confidence in Luan was unshaken when they gave him the reins for the Olaf. I know I wasn't the biggest fan, but it's okay because Luan definitely gave a strong... It looked cool. Yeah, he looked cool while doing it. Now, if they put Luan... Now, here's where I would change up the draft. You know, obviously...
Okay, Coach Rafa. Take the Coach Rafa hat on. All right.
Putting my Coach Rafa hat on. You know, Heartstuck Emerald, by the way. So, you know... take this with a grain of salt. Take this with a grain of salt. If they're putting a lot of resources into Luan, I mean, then they can give him a split pusher, such as the Fiora I know the Camille was taken away by Black Camel specifically, but that's why I was really hoping that like Black Camel was going to be the one that takes the Olaf, goes for the early aggression, allows him to get into the thick of the fights, whereas Luan can always start scaling for the later parts of the game, can be a split pusher that forces Louis, hey, do you want to group up with the rest of NME for those wombo combos, or are you going to stop me from taking out your base, right? And we never got a chance to see that because Olaf is not the most potent split pusher. He wants to fight instead.
As assistant coach, I'd like to offer my advice here. Instead of Fiora or maybe a Camille, may I offer a Rivet, a strong split pusher, a great team fighter, which is what we just saw, and is strong as soon as you hit level 3. Champion does relatively the same amount of things that it does when it's level 3 that it does at level 15. But just has a lot more damage packed behind it, and obviously can maybe use those abilities a lot more. Manaless Champion Gap also can just constantly keep getting resets, keep going with that ability haste.
Riven is pretty damn good at that, being a Manaless champion. I want to look back at the previous draft, though, and just get my bearings to see what these guys had last time. Because for Choncc Chortle, now taking the blue side of the draft, they remain with their Recon band, but they have gone with Olaf and Corki. Varus being left open. NME, will you answer the Varus red side ban call here? Because Senna is also going to be up on the table as well.
Are they going to handshake it? That's the important part for me. If they don't ban Varus here, then Choncc Chortle will get it, and NME can pick Ashe with something else. Or if they pick that, they can then also respond with something like a Camille with a support for Selma. Camille Gragas is a popular kind of duo. They can also still pick up the Nami as well. So Varus is the one that hits the table, and I think this is an interesting position where both of us are saying, "Oh, you can first pick the first pick the Varus," but I really like picking Ashe here, taking it away from Dienzio and forcing them onto something like the Senna, which wasn't banned away this time, could be a key to a strategy for Choncc Chortle win.
There's a couple of things that are also up on the table, though. Senna is available. Renekton is also available as well. And if we talk about giving Luan something that he can really take the laning phase into his own hands, if Luan wants to be an adept T fighter, then Renekton would definitely be the way to go. Ooh. But now they prioritize the Senna. This opens up Nori and Hestia for potentially those Senna Nasus combos.
Yep. Undefeated so far on this pairing for Choncc Chortle. So if they do pull it out, expect it to be a hard-fought victory for Choncc Chortle. But NME not really willing to kind of give up without a fight. And now they have their pick of the litter. You mentioned the Camille. I expect it to be kind of scooped up here in this R1, R2. There it is. And they even pick up the Ashe. So setting up for their Dragon Lane supremacy. Dienzio just, we've seen this level 1. This champion is already pretty egregious to play. She has like a secondary ability at level 1 just because her auto attack's slow. Plus with the volley, very difficult to get away with.
Question is, we know that Tybe is the self-proclaimed best Camille and Wukong in NA. But a Louis can also take the split push matchup if he wants to. There it is! Not only Renekton for Luan, but also the Nasus for Hestia, making that Senna Nasus combo locked in for sure. Now, the things that you want to pick against it, as since Font of Life was nerfed, making the Senna Nasus combo not as oppressive, either you want to go for something that can set up for powerful dives, going for all-ins, or you want a powerful roaming support because you know that Senna Nasus is not going to be one that pushes Dienzio and Selma out of lane either.
I want an aggressive engage support here for Selma. I don't know if it'll be Thresh. I don't know if it'll be the Leona, but it seems like we're talking about, hey, we want to play dive, we want to play all of this. NME, they go and pick up the Louis Malphite yet again, and they get that Nami for Selma, which was what we talked about at the top of the draft here, getting themselves a very, very powerful lane. And, even though Senna Nasus is really just, I'm going to throw out Spirit Fire, I'm going to wave clear away from you, that laning phase, the first few levels is still very, very dangerous for them.
Choncc Chortle, how do they wrap this one up? They have to secure something for... It's the Camille counter pick. This is Black Camel's Jack's Jungle. This is something that he has not only used to great success in prior series, but, Choncc Chortle did get the win over Cloud9. One of those games being game 1 as he pulled it out. And then Molly going in with some dive threat with this Diana here.
Ooh, okay. A lot of melee champions, which, if I'm NME, I'm throwing up an okay hand. Speaking of okay hands, we can throw them up on the broadcast a little bit. We see the Kai'Sa R5 counter pick here. Last pick of choice for NME is Truth's Kai'Sa. It's a rather squishy team aside from the Malphite, but with so many melee members, Ashe is about to get Stonks upgraded. Stonks to the moon instantly. So many slows, so much range, especially alongside Anami with movement speed and the tidal wave. It's going to be obnoxious for Choncc to deal with if they're not already there on the play.
Choncc Chortle, once again, at least for the dragon side of the map, will have a bit of a scaling factor. Nasus wants to build up stacks. Going to be working towards that Thimble Winter. Nori can start building up his range over time the later the game goes. Jack's also a powerful late game split pusher and duelist. Pretty decent at team fighting. So really the only early bridge you have is through Luan's Renekton. Now, if you're able to get Nori out of lane early on, or you want to transition Black Camel Molly to towards the Baron side of the map, looking for dives onto a Louis before he is level 5 with that Unstoppable Force, you can get some early cheese kills and get Luan accelerated, because Luan is at his best when he is clearly being a disruption in those team fights, threatening the backline, and you have other tools, other champions that are going to be diving with you in Molly's Diana.
I just love this bot lane for Choncc Chortle, not only in the sense that it is just a relatively low econ bot lane that is just there to provide a lot of crowd control once we get to team fights and provide a little bit of wave clear for them from range. But that Wither is going to be so important as to who it lands on. And like you were talking about just now, Luan, if this Renekton gets into the backline, unless, blinking HP bars, unless there's a flash as well, and they're able to kind of keep him at distance, Renekton will eat this Kai'Sa Ashe duo alive.
Back on the Rift, NME. They are the ones going to be answering with 4 people in the mid lane, whereas Nori and Hestia are not going to join the Brethren in the mid lane, because they want to be here to make sure that they can get stacks.
Hey, they're doing Krugs. That's cute.
Oh, wait, that's neat.
They did this before, no? I feel like they've done this before.
Yeah,
I feel like we've seen a bot lane do the Krugs so they can get a little bit of early experience and not waste time on the wave.
They've also done Gromp before with this as well, which is
okay. That's neat. That's a little more mean. Like, I know nobody does the Krugs in this game because there's just not enough incentive for it. But not my Gromp, man. Not the Gromp.
I don't know. Red side camps feel pretty damn good for most junglers in this case, but this is a really abnormal path for Black Camel, is going for Wolves after, I believe it was blue buff, and now is starting to walk into the bottom side of the map. Probably be lining up for that red buff, and then can be ready for the crab once it spawns.
Wow, really wants uptime on the blue buff and wants to just be level 3 to try and, kind of set up his team. Look at this invade. We're looking at a Louis and Luan. The shield, the barrier comes out. Double barriers are now here for both of the Baron laners. The entire time, there's another scuffle going down in the Dragon lane. It's caused multiple summoner spells now. I wonder what else they're going to try and go for. There's no camps to take. The Krugs are already gone, so that's a good stalwart defense coming out from Choncc Chortle. And it does waste a little bit of the time here for the jungle mid of NME.
Yeah, this does feel a little bad for Black Camel because of the way he pathed down into the dragon side of the map.
Yeah.
It puts him at a disadvantage competing with Truth and Tybe, who get to the first punch, pushing him out of the jungle and then gain that crab. And Black Camel can no longer compete for the crab on the Baron side of the map, despite Luan getting a slight advantage and forcing both of the Louis sums just because of Tybe and Truth maintaining priority through this mid lane.
Rafa, I think this is already a much slower game.
Yep.
From Choncc Chortle than the past 3 games that they've played in a row. So I think we need to cherish this time in between. Use it as we must for the oncoming war between these two.
Truer words have never been spoken, Dimitri. Because Around this time, there's about 8 kills. There's 0. Zip. Both Choncc Chortle and NME are saying, you know what? We went a little too brazy last game. You know, we just want to tone it down a little bit, make sure that our lovely casters are not losing their breath in time for day 3 of the regional championships tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
That would be, I mean, obviously really nice from them, but I also want them to win. And we're speaking of, hey, where's the action? Where's it going to come from? It's going to be right in the Dragon lane.
Yo!
The bubble from downtown, the flash from Selma finds the pick onto Nori. There's the ultimate from Dienzio over top to just try and help this. Molly is here just in case there's another redive. And it'll be really dangerous because the Baron laners are keeping themselves occupied. There's just 2 meatballs running at each other, trying to do what they can. But it is just enough for NME. They get a kill. They, stop this Senna from getting a little bit more experience. And they'll have to redeploy and be careful as 20 seconds, Rafa, before that dragon spawns. And we're going to have probably another fight on our hands.
17 seconds before those 2 neutral objectives come online. NME, just like clockwork, as soon as all the champions were level 5, Truth rotates on down, he calls over Type, they get the boys all together, and they press the go button. Hextech Ultimatum locks down Nori, and it's just a rest of the CC chain not giving Nori any chances. He burned heal, but he knew that the flash was not going to do him any good. Now, Louis spotting out that they're doing the Rift Herald here, but it is below 50% HP. Black Camel trying to burn this out as fast as he can. They've already rotated Nori on over, but the rest of NME, the reinforcements coming in. Crystal Enchanted Arrow will land. Beautiful knockup follow-up from Louis on to 2. Luwan and Black Camel will already fall. Luwan is trying to run for the hills at this one, but Tybe gonna get one more auto attack, maybe a tactical sweep, but he just burns down thanks to the smite. And Tybe and the rest of NME get the Rift Herald, take 2 kills with it as well.
They're going to be able to move down into the bottom side. And Rafa, this is feeling way more one-sided this time around. There's not many tools, I think, for Choncc Chortle to fight back. They don't have the same kind of early game champions that can try to fight. You have a Nasus, you have a Senna, who's not known for their early game aggression and their early game damage. So we're here at 5 minutes. Speaking of which, that's Molly getting solo killed by the jungler of NME, putting themselves at a lead with a Rift-tailed crashing, getting the first turret.
Tybe is just built different this game so far. 2-0-2 on the Camille, now putting himself as a split pusher. Luwan comes back to the Baron lane, though, and a lot of pressure still being put in the mid lane. The fact that Tybe is a solid level above both the mid laner and the Baron laner at this point is already setting a tone for how this game is going.
This is very, if you're a Choncc Chortle fan, which, I mean, welcome. You've been obviously here with us for a bit. This is very scary. You are in danger territory. It is October, so maybe it's a little bit of a, it's matching with the theme. It's a little bit spooky. But NME, there is only one team in North America that makes Kai'Sa actually a split push threat, and it is NME. It is them. This guy, Truth, is so insane on this champion.
Can we just talk about that? Tybe is the highest level champion on the Rift. He's higher level than his solo laners.
I think you know what phrase I'm going to go with here, and I think we might have to hold it as Dienzo's here. Molly tries to go in for Crooks, gets caught out. It's the bubble. It's the ultimate here to try and save him. But Tybe's here. There's a 3-man moonfall going in, out, back in. Doesn't mean anything against NME as Choncc Chortle's mid laner goes down. And now they're kind of at a standstill. The Dragon's going to be started up here for NME. It's starting to feel a little doomed here if you are on the side of Choncc Chortle's, Rafa, but they're going to try and make some plays on the opposite side of the map, and Louis is going to have to watch his turret disappear.
Another tower goes down in favor of NME. Choncc Chortle able to answer back, but Tybe has already started up the Ocean Dragon. Going to be secured for NME as well. 4,000 gold, 2 towers on their side, 6 kills to their name. NME. We said it before. NME were not happy dropping their series against Immortals. And while Choncc Chortle were able to get a game off of NME in the very first round, back in the first series that we watched on day 1, NME have come back with a vengeance. Game 1, we saw a lot of fighting, a lot of back and forth skirmishes. This time around, NME were, honestly, in a way that you coined it, spooky. They were deadly quiet. for the first few minutes of the game, and they have just come online with calculated aggression, always playing off ultimates. However, Dienzio, that's a horror movie moment right there. Walk into a bush and suddenly a giant angry crocodile is there staring at you in the face.
We made the analogy a little bit earlier in the broadcast. We were saying, oh, this is a team that's feeling like they're hunting. You've got the gazelle out in the prairie or out in the wild on the tall grass. There's lion's eyes peeking out at you. You can just barely see it thanks to the glint from the sun. And that's NME in this game too. They're feeling probably a little bit as drained as we were coming out of game one, but it looks like they're keeping up that aggression nonetheless. Tybe, the one to go in with the Hextech Ultimatum, gets the movement speed from Selma, but Luan is able to escape. A small scuffle is there to protect NME as Dienzio takes down this tier 1 Baron turret.
NME have now successfully taken all tier 1 turrets off of the Rift against Choncc Chortle. That makes it even more dangerous for Choncc Chortle to walk into the quadrants of their jungle, because you can already see the vision line that is being established. They find a Crystal Enchanted Arrow right into the bubble onto Black Camel. He's got the Counter-Strike rolling, but he cannot dodge out on any more abilities. He tries to hop back in. He goes down, and NME have already dealt with the jungle of Choncc Chortle, which gives them a little bit more room. Do they keep going here? My God!
Ooh.
Unrelenting aggression.
Uh-oh, and it looks like NME, they're trying to play bully. They're trying to play spoiler in the sense that they want to put a bad mark on Choncc Chortle's winning record with this bot lane. And it doesn't look like it's enough right now coming out from Choncc Chortle. They're trying to scale. They're trying to find something, but Tybe goes in.
Jesus.
Flash after the hook shot to try and kill Nori. He's able to barely escape. There's a TP coming in. Luan wants to find this. Rafa, help out Choncc Chortle.
Luan goes in. Truth is able to dodge out on the Killer Instinct. Looks like Luan was able to find Dienzio and Selma. Does he have enough gas? He's already goes down. Nori has already been eliminated as well. Hestia can't do it. The big dog has been taken down. NME still fighting back. Black Camel with the counter-strike, but Tybe re-engages beautifully right on time with that hook shot. Molly, can he trade back on a Louis? No! It will survive, and NME pick up the ace.
And now, Rafa, it's 8,000 gold. The gold has started to really start to rise. NME with the BM, only production and us here on the show could see. Refuse to surrender. I just love that that comes up on our screen here. But
why is this?
A fantastic team fight coming out from NME.
We're really struggling.
Oh, man.
Gosh, that's
guys, I think we won that team fight too hard. Do you think we want to go to a game 3, lads?
Yeah.
Would be normal. Look, I would expect nothing less from Dienzio, who's a world champion at, I think it was 14. It's either 14 or 16. My math could be wrong.
He was young.
Incredibly,
yeah.
He was very, very young when he won. And you can see it in all of the content that he produces, either by himself or other people interviewing him. Very confident kid as well. And he shows it here in his play. It's the first one going down. Luan is there right next to Nori. Hestia has to just watch as her team falls apart around her. And on the split, they are trying to make plays. They are trying to split in this Baron lane. That is a tier 2 and going down. It forces away Dienzio to come back. They're going to probably trade this last one here, but there's a dragon available whenever NME want to go for it.
Yeah, Choncc Chortle, credits to them. God.
There it is.
Living, by the way. We got there. Credits to them that they are still trying to keep their heads within this series. They're still looking to what the best alternative that they can do. Even if NME is pushing into their base, Choncc Chortle knows that they cannot even hope to defend against it. They try to swing gold back into their favor on a map where NME are not outnumbering them. The next dragon is up on the field. NME already here. First one to the punch. Luan, don't take that blast cone.
Yeah, good. He took it in the other direction, which
good read.
I was really scared he was going to go over the wall. It was going to be 4,000 HP, and he'd be like, we just get a freeze frame from production. Just be like, oh no. Oh no. That's just a dead top laner.
At this moment, he knew. He f***ed up.
Oh no. I always forget you have the bleep button, and then it comes through, and it reminds me just how great your production and your setup is. But now here for Alpha, we're in that unenvious position for Choncc Chortle, where they're staring down the barrel of a 0-2 loss to NME and going home with it's a nice chunk of change. I won't lie. I'll take it from them if they don't want it. But I mean, they are in a position where they need to be able to come back. They need to find miracle plays, and I just don't know if they have the tools to start it.
I mean, because NME have multiple ways to start the fight on their own turf. They had a Crystal Enchanted Arrow and a Hex that made him on one target. Louis setting up for the alley-oop onto another with his unstoppable force. Just like that, 3 have fallen. NME just need to eliminate 2 more. That's a Fluon gone, and it's only Hestia against 5. But I don't think the Nasus is going to be enough wave clear to be able to solve this wave out. NME, they're coming back through the lower bracket rounds to take a rematch against Immortals, the team that took them to the lower bracket in the first place.
Oh my god. NME, dread it, run from it. NME arrive all the same. They're there in your lower finals. They're going to go up against Immortals tomorrow. And Rafa, we got a series on our hands tomorrow. It's going to be good. It's a best of 5 between those two. NME are going to look to try and play to get back into the grand finals, prove their shot against Tribe, and go up against some of the best that we have here in North America. We have now solidified our top 4, and it is just a beautiful thing to see. Choncc Chortles, before we kind of send off and we start to talk about NME, I want to thank all of the members, Molly, Nori, Hestia, Luan, Tribe 80s, Black Camel. All of you guys have been excellent. You've been a fan favorite all the way from last chance qualifier to now. And it is sad to see you go, but I'm glad that you guys made this run as substitutes and now in your own team, pushing some of the best here to, max point. It's just beautiful to see.
Choncc Chortle can hold their heads up high knowing that they made a hell of a run as a team that came in very late into the series. And Charmer, I know this does mean that we have to say goodbye to Choncc Chortle and Hestia, one of your favorite supports from the series. Are you going to recover?
The good news is I've got time to recover, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's our last series of the day. We're going to come back tomorrow with our top 3. So I've got time. I will say very impressed with both teams there. I think that they played extremely well, but NME just kind of brought their A game after things settled down. That first game, very scrappy. As a spectator, having a blast watching fight after fight, but there kind of became a point where they remembered, hey, objectives win games, right? They'd had all of the dragons built up. They kind of turned it on Choncc Chortle. They pushed that. The second game, I felt like they had a really good draft. I was noting that at one point I was like, wow, they have so much AoE stun. This is going to be a nightmare if they can start forcing fights. And so they got that early advantage, started snowballing, and then routinely we were seeing like 4v1s, 4v2s, and then they would also turn those into objectives. So I think NME just navigated the series very well once things settled down. But as you guys said, Choncc Chortle really gave it their all. And unfortunately, they are going to finish 4th. They are eliminated. So for those of you at home, if you are just now tuning in, or if you've been with us all the way up until this point, we're going to recap the bracket as we prepare to go into our 3rd and final day of this regional championship. Again, the upper bracket dominated by Tribe Gaming did not lose a game at all on day 1, and they are awaiting a challenger in the grand finals. In the lower bracket, which we saw play out today, we had a number of teams put up some amazing fights, and as you can see here now, we've got our final 2. So Immortals and NME, they're going to kick things off tomorrow, and they're going to fight for the right to go back and take on Tribe Gaming for the championship. Will it be a rematch of Immortals and Tribe because they met earlier in the upper bracket finals, or will it be the rematch of NME and Tribe, NME being the only other squad that's ever taken a series from Tribe? So a lot on the line tomorrow. Again, congratulations to Choncc Chortle for making it this far. Congratulations to NME for moving on. And this was our last series for today, but we got a big day tomorrow, gentlemen. So Rafa, I want to start with you. Final thoughts on the day, and what are we looking forward to tomorrow?
It's the top 3 all over again. NME, Immortals, and then the winner of that into Tribe. I mean, it's not like we didn't call it in our power rankings. You know, there were definitely some fantastic upsets during this bracket run, but these are by far the top 3 teams in North America. And depending on which version of these teams that shows up tomorrow, I know Tribe had a very devastating blow to Immortals yesterday, but this is also a team that fell to NME, to Rift Masters Invitational. So on any given day, I genuinely think that the strongest version of the team that shows up is going to be the one that takes it. And it could be, realistically, any three of these teams.
I'm going to go ahead and say, Rafa, you're wrong. Tribe has just consistently shown that they are the better team. It was the first major, it was 3-2, and then the next one, it was 3-0. They said, hey, we're done, Dusty. We're going to get this team out of here and take our first. You said it before, this top three has been our consistent top three throughout the Summoner Series. If you look Major 1, Major 2, and even Major 3, Immortals have been in that top 3 spot and winning the third major pretty handedly. So it's kind of to be expected, but nonetheless, I'm excited because of the storylines we have going into tomorrow.
Absolutely. Well, tomorrow will be a day of heavyweight fights, any way you look at it. But that does it for day 2 of the Wild Rift Summoner Series North American Regional Championship. Again, presented by Verizon, brought to you by Riot Games, Wisdom, and Nerd Street. We know who our 3 teams are. It's NME, Immortals, and Tribe Gaming. Tune in tomorrow to see who's going to win that $30,000, who's going to represent North America at the Horizon Cup, and who's going to lift that beautiful trophy that I've seen a picture of. It's going to be tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern on this channel. Again, that's Wild Rift Esports. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Good night.